Approximately for the past 20 years there has been a massive killing spree. The people in Africa have been dealing with their villages being destroyed, their families getting killed, and them not being able to get the resources they need to survive. For example, many Africans have been dying because of malnutrition. In the first 9 months of this year, 360 children under the age of 5 have died because of the lack of nutrients they need to live. Poverty has caused the problem, and this is happening all in the West African nation of Niger. In Darfur, 400,000 people have died, and 2,500,000 people have had to move since their villages have been destroyed. Speaking of villages, 400 of them have been obliterated due to Sudan forces and Janjaweed militia taking illegal forces. Janjaweed are a group of Arabic-speaking fighters that have conflict with rebel groups in the Darfur Western region. Conflicts increased between African farmers and many nomadic Arab tribes. Sudanese forces and Janjaweed militias attacked more than 100 villages throughout the region of Darfur. African farmers and citizens of Darfur are continually being murdered by the Janjaweed militias. The Sudanese government are not taking the steps to resolve the conflict that is happening in Darfur. Just recently, the Janjaweed militias have been in the act of poaching elephants. The Janjaweed poachers use their profits from killing the elephants in order to keep on massacring the black African Christians in Darfur. More than 30,000 elephants have been killed by the Janjaweed since last year, and this is building up the chance of the extinction of one of our most iconic species on Earth. If we let these actions continue, then we won't be able to stop the Janjaweed militias because of how powerful and threatening they will have become.
Between the Janjaweed militia and the African government, the Janjaweed militia is winning this war because the African government isn't doing anything about it. The Janjaweed are still continuing to kill elephants to obtain their tusks to sell, so that they can continue to use that money for weapons to kill more Africans. The African government needs to step up on their forces in order to save these African children who are dying from malnutrition. They also need to protect the African people from the Janjaweed, and to protect the elephants who are being assassinated. In closing, I'd like you to think about the genocide that is happening in Africa in hopes that you appreciate that you don't need to worry about starving or getting murdered each and every night.